Hey everybody, this is Brendan with Two Guys Making Tribe. My sugarcane patch blew over in the storm last night, so I decided I was going to make some sugarcane syrup, and I'm going to take you guys through the process. I just cut up the stalks here, and we're going to wash them, chop them up, and then I'll bring you back once we got it in the pot. So from here, my daughter's washing the rest of the cane up in the other room. I'm just going to cut these up in 1 to 2 inch pieces, drop them in my pot, and we'll get them ready to boil. So, let's see if you can see that. We want them about just 1 to 2 inches, and we'll do that to the whole stack of them, and then we'll be ready to boil them for a few hours. So now that we got the cane all cut up in the pot, we fill it up with enough water just to get to the top of the cane. We'll put it on a high heat, get this thing to a rolling boil, and let that boil off for 3 or 4 hours to get all the sugars into the water and out of the cane stalks. All right, so we've had this sugar cane boiling for about 3.5 hours now. I went ahead and pulled all the chunks out and put them in a separate pot. I'll end up giving those to the animals, and now we'll strain off the last bit of juice into another pot. And so we'll put this on the oven and or stovetop rather, and simmer this down further from here. All right, now we got our smaller pot back on the stove. Normally when I've done this in the past, I'd just bring it back to a rolling boil and let it go like that until completion. However, it is getting on to 11 o'clock at night, so I'm going to put it on a medium-low heat and let it simmer overnight. I'll bring you guys back on in the morning. Alright, so we're back in the morning. I let this simmer overnight. It only reduced about an inch and a half, so I'm going to crank it up to a rolling boil and let it go until it thickens up and turns into a syrup. Alright, so we've got most of the water boiled out and we're down to the syrup now. We're getting it the proper consistency. I'm going to let it go for a little bit longer to get it a little thicker. I prefer a thicker syrup. I'll make it a little sweeter as well, and we'll get it poured off into a jar here shortly. Alright, now we got it all boiled down. We'll put it over into our jar. it takes a lot of cane to make a little bit of syrup. So I believe this was, I think this was 8 mature stalks that had blown over. And then diced them up into the smaller pieces. That big stock pot I had filled about halfway. But you get a beautiful, sweet syrup for pancakes. My wife likes to put it in her teas as a sweetener. And just let it cool from there. So I got a little half-pint jelly jar full off of about 8 stalks. Thank you guys for watching.